Can you tell us about Luke Reynolds and how you're using him? And I know he started, I guess, at nickel, and now you seem to be working him at corner.
Well, our initial plan was to play him at nickel during the spring, let him get some work there with the guys that we've had out. You know, first couple of days we didn't have nickel in, so started him off at corner. Then you get Greg Stroman injured, so just kind of left him and let him rotate in at the corner spot. And because you're still short with Greg and just the injuries, just letting him stay here until we get Greg back. We'll get him some nickel work next week as the plan, but he's doing a good job.
So Stroman's been out since he did the hamstring thing. What is it about Mook that you liked at nickel, and what do you see from him at corner?
Well, his high school film, he kind of played more of an outside linebacker type guy. He was good off the edge as a blitzer. He's got corner ability as far as a cover guy. We just haven't had a chance to evaluate him there, but we just assume that Sunday to translate over to what we do defensively.
Alexander was a guy who had quite a few tackles the other day. What do you think of him in the first scrimmage, and where's he been working so far?
We started off at free safety. We moved him to cornerback, and, you know, he's raw as all outdoors. You're talking about a guy who played high school linebacker, so he hadn't even played safety. Wasn't quite sure what we were going to do with him. You know, seeing how he runs, seeing how he moves, see his agility and all those things. He can change directions, impressive for a guy's size, so we're going to try him at corner. He played at can't remember if he played corner or safety. It's all flying so far on Saturday. But anyway, I know he was corner on Tuesday, and I think once he learns it, I think he's got a huge upside.
Mook is a guy that you expect you'll play this coming season?
We'll find out. We'll find out because I haven't got a chance to evaluate him as a nickel spot. I think we'll be pretty good at the corner if everybody's there accordingly. But you never know who's back, injured, what happens there. But that'll be the plan. He'll compete to be in the 2 deep there, I would think, at corner or the nickel spot.
Chuck's still working corner primarily?
Yeah, we're just going to leave Chuck at the corner spot. He's been doing such a great job this spring. And, you know, we'll kind of evaluate it after the spring to kind of see where he goes. Does he stay at corner? Do we move him back to nickel? You know, and it's all musical chairs. Do you get Brandon back? Is he healthy and all those things? So that's you kind of got contingency plans in different ways.
What do you think of Edmonds so far? I know he had the pick in the scrimmage the other day.
I think Terrell's a great prospect. You know, he redshirted last year, so he's almost basically just 7 practice ins or however many practices we've had to this point. He seems to pick up things pretty good. He's coachable. I think he's going to be a very good prospect moving forward.
Who do you think are some of the hardest hitters on your defense this year? Everyone talked about Tyshawn last year.
On the defense or the defensive secondary?
Both, but you can start with your guys.
Let me go from the front back. You know, Daddy can bring the load. We know Corey Marshall can bring the load. Luther, I mean, we got some guys up front that can bring it. Nigel, I mean, we're pretty good up front, obviously. Andrew at linebacker, he's got a good shoulder. Back on my end, CJ's got a heavy shoulder. Who I'm going through corners, Chuck's a big corner, or DB, nickel, whatever in the heck he is. He's got a big shoulder. And Riley's 210 pounds. He's got a big shoulder, so all those guys can bring it when need be.
A little advantage to DBs because they can get a running start for some of those.
We're just trying to get them down, though. The big collisions happens around the piles and all those things, or, you know, if we're getting a big running start at them, we're probably just trying to get them down for the most part. You're probably not going to get a great collision unless the guy's just catching the ball and turning around. But we just got to make sure we target them legally. And those are kind of our blow-up hits, but we got to make sure we do it legally.
So what's it like to actually have some guys to coach this year? Seems like you have more bodies than in the past.
It's always good, man. You always want to I want to share with those guys my knowledge and pass on, help them get better. So I always want guys to work with.
What do you think of Ronnie so far? I know he's been a guy that over the years seems like potential has always been there, just hasn't been able to stay healthy, get on the field.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I mean, the kid knows what's expected, knows the defense. He understands what we want. Just got to go out and stay healthy.
How's he look so far this spring?
He looks great. Guy is being a senior. He's out there. He understands what's going on, understands his role, and excelling in it. So excited about it. Just the whole point of staying healthy to get to that point to show what he can do.
Size-wise, you kind of go to the opposite end of the spectrum with Holland Fisher. How different is that, having two kind of different size guys playing the same position there?
Yeah, it's a little different, but Holland Fisher puts you in mind more of Alonzo Tweedy. He has that type of body type, you know, and a little bit of that. So have some experience dealing with guys of that size, so that's not a big factor. Just want to he's at a different realm than Ronnie because he's trying to understand the defense and learn it from the whip position. So that's his whole objective right now.
What did the coaching staff see in him to decide to move him to that whip position instead of defensive back where he's been playing?
Well, I think being closer to the ball allows him to use more of his asset, being a guy that just basically hawked the ball and was required of him there. And it's a good matchup for us, pitting him on tight ends and backs and in situations like that. So we like that, and we like what he has brought and what he's shown and during his redshirt year, which, puts him in a good position by moving him to whip.
How is Ronnie's coverage skills? How is he in that part of the game?
Yeah, I think he's really improved. Ronnie's showing that. And the one thing about it, he's a big kid that can run, so that really helps him out a lot. And he has a lot of size, so the quarterbacks, they got a tough window to fit it in on him. So he's been doing a good job. We got some good guys to go against with Bucky and Malik, and also covering some receivers.
Do you know percentage-wise, because with so many spreads, we see less base, so less whip. Do you know percentage-wise how much the whip played last year?
Yeah, I know how much he played.
How much was it?
It was about 100 plays, out of a 300-play season. So, it depends on the team. You got teams like Miami who like 2 tight ends. Boston College, they like 2 tight ends. Pitt. And it's more about the game. The aspects of more physical game, whereas you play the East Carolinas of the world, who's pitting for receivers on the field, the Marshalls, and that's where the game's gone to. The game is more of an athletic game. It's basically a basketball game on turf, on grass, and so physical guys who really don't have the athletic ability to run with smaller guys puts them at a disadvantage, especially in what we do.
Sounds like from the coaches, it said you've maybe turned a little bit of a corner this spring. Have you sensed that yourself, and what are you kind of seeing?
Just game to me, man. Just playing a little bit harder. Feel like this spring's my shot to be that third man with Daddy and Ken in there. So I pretty much sized my role, so I stepped it up.
What feels different?
Nothing really feels different. I'm just, I feel like it just came, just playing harder.
Is that because the game slowed down for you maybe a little bit?
I had a year playing, I got in about 100-plus plays on defensive end, so that helped out, getting reps against actual really good people, and then just having that for this spring, a little bit of experience under my belt, so that helped out a lot, yeah.
Is there any particular thing that you came into this spring thinking, I need to get better at this, I need to prove, I want to learn this, I want to do this?
Pass rush, 7 technique, 5 technique, just like my pinches, my sparks away, things like that.
So there's a lot of...
Yeah, I just tried to improve on everything,
Charlie Wiles has a tendency to be pretty blunt when talking to guys about what they need to get better at. Did he have any kind of meetings with you in the offseason where he just kind of laid it all out there?
Not really. He just said, this is a big spring for you. And I kind of got the memo from there, just kind of fed off that.
Where, pass rush-wise, how do you feel better in that aspect? If so, how?
Getting off the ball. Getting off the ball helps out a lot for pass rush. Just having the first move, like stab swing, knockdowns, things like that, speed to power. So just knowing, looking at film, NFL film and film for the past season from people like Daddy, Gail, JR from those past years, and just looking at that helped me out a lot.
Are those moves maybe you didn't have in the past? Have those developed? Or?
I feel like it's just experience and just, being able to rep it out.
Who has the best pass rush moves that you've played with? Is there a guy that you want to do that?
Well, you can't really say because, JR had his own, kind of pass move, and Gail had his own. Daddy has, the speed to power, thing like that. So, all of them, I could take a bunch from all of them, put it into my own game.
Is there one specific one that you've seen that you're like, I want to copy, I want to do exactly that? That's a good move.
Probably Gail. He had more body type like me, so I thought, always looked up to that, to his pass rush and stuff like that, yeah.
Does he teach you the trash talking after that as well, or is that not in your repertoire?
A little bit now and then, but usually I just keep my mouth shut, just play hard.
What about Ken? Has he been a help this spring? I know he has been sitting out.
Yeah, when he sees things I could work on, he's like, be a little bit tighter with your hands, things like that. Yeah, he just helps out a little bit. Yeah.
Do you have a goal in mind of how much you'd like to play this year? How much you'd like to contribute?
Sky's the limit. I'm just going to play as hard as I can, and whatever the coaches think is best for the team, I'm going to do, you know.
Do you get the sense that that rotation is based off of like how well you're playing? Like, if you're not playing great, they'll play the other two guys more snaps,
I'm
but
not
they'd
sure.
like to.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know right now because they have the most experience. Like, you know, probably just I don't know. I really don't know.
Coaches have always tell us that the most tiring thing to do is to rush the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, would a 4-man rotation there be when you're thinking about just how physically draining it is to?
I mean, I'm sure that'd help out. You know, that'd definitely help out the first two. Yeah, that'd be good for the defense to have the constant rotation. Yeah.
Well, what has it been like going through spring for the first time for you?
It's an adjustment to the speed of the game, strength of the game, you know, intelligence of the game. You got to be ahead, especially with Coach Gray being your coach. He expects a lot. So it's been pretty fun, though. You know, I like being out there. The level of competition is by far way better than high school. I like to play up to that. It makes my game play better. So the adjustment and being out there, I say the adjustment hasn't been too difficult. And just being out there in general is exciting and fun.
How have they been using you so far? Have you been in one spot specifically, or move around at all? Or?
I've moved around. I was going to start off nickel in spring, then Greg messed his hamstring up, and so Greg's plan was to get me in there at corner. So when he went down, I got in there at corner at field. I started off at field. Before the scrimmage last week, he moved me to boundary, so I played some boundary. Then he moved me back to field, and he's gonna move me back to nickel when G comes back. So, you know, just field, boundary, and nickel is what I'm really.
You played more of a nickel role when you were in high school. Do you feel more comfortable there, or do you like it out at full corner?
You know, I like being around the ball. I got a nose for the ball. Whatever. If it's a passing team, I like to cover guys. If it's a run team, I like to be in there with the action. So either way, nickel's gonna be fun. You're expected to make tackles in the backfield, tackle for loss at corner too. So either way, I think I would bring that aggressiveness in whichever I play.
Has your head been swimming at all though with boundary field? Nick, that's a lot to be trying to learn. Your kind of first few weeks.
It's a lot to take on. I had some mental mistakes, but you know that's expected with young guys, especially coming in. The game doesn't slow down. The teaching doesn't slow down. So you know we're expected to. You know what the other guys know and learn on the fly. Like today, yesterday, I wasn't really as prepared as I should have been for that practice. But Gray noticed that, and you know I came in early. He taught me everything. So now I'm adjusted to everything. You know, it's very fast, but you know you got to be on your toes at all times. Film room is very important. So just adjusting to the speed of it, the teaching of it, all that's straight. But my head I haven't been out of whack except for that one day. But I'm straight now.
That one day, did you have a moment that stands out where you just either busted a coverage or something? Anything that you're.
It's two coverages that kind of sound the same, and if you don't hear the last part, then you're going to play the wrong one. And I played one, and I didn't hear the last part, and the last part is very important. And so they caught the pass on that when I should have been under it. But we went over it, and we ran it the day I was on it, so he was pleased.
Coach Foster talked a lot about how all the young corners are about the same. What do you do differently to separate yourself?
I know I'm young, and I know it's a lot of young guys out there, and you know, me and Donis came here early, so we came with the mindset that we want to come prove ourselves early. So I try to go hard. I learn from all the young guys because they're young, they're learning too, but they've been here, so I try to learn what they're doing, add my own twist, make some plays, bring aggressiveness to the position. You know, if a guy gets beat, he was aggressive, so you know we can work with that. We can coach that up on film. So that's really what I try to do.
I know Kendall hasn't been doing a whole lot out there. Is he almost like an assistant coach at times? It seems like he's helping you guys out.
Yeah, he helps us out. He knows his stuff. It's very helpful. When he's on the sideline, they call plays. He tells you a certain way to play, gives you some tips, gives you some keys to help you be a factor faster. So yeah, it's pretty helpful.
Do you come in having a goal for next year? Do you want to play? Do you want to have a significant role?
Of course I want to play. Of course I want to have a significant role. You know, I took my body serious when I came in. I knew I had to gain weight. I'm at a weight that I feel comfortable at now. So, you know, sky's the limit. All I got to do is take care of my schoolwork, take care of my stuff on the field, learn everything, gain the coach's trust. And I feel
What
like
is
I
your
do just
weight?
that.
Sorry, what is your weight right now?
I'm up to 183 right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
You came in at
164.
So 2 months, 20 pounds?
Yes, sir.
How'd you do that?
I do like 200 push-ups a night, drink my shakes, discipline in that, so it's worked.
All right, so I'm at corner right now, and he moved me to rover. He seen I can move a little bit, so he moved me to free safety. Then I showed my athleticism there, and he said I could play corner a little bit. So that's where I'm at right now.
Is that weird? I mean, it sounds like you were almost a linebacker in high school, or if not just a straight-up linebacker, right?
Yeah, I played. I was a safety, but I played closer to the ball, and I was probably about always 6 to 8 yards off the ball. So I guess you can kind of call it a linebacker, but like it's not really a big difference in like the transition. Like it was see, man, I'm messing up.
Oh, you're all good.
You're fine.
Where were you at the scrimmage? Where did they have you playing in that scrimmage?
They had me at free safety at the scrimmage.
Coming in early, was the goal there to be able to play the next year, or was like,
Yeah,
why'd you do that?
Of course, I wanted to get a head start, learn the plays, be familiar with them before the season came around, so I could have a good feel for whatever position he wanted to work me in at.
Has it been hard at all? You mentioned the different spots they have you at. Has it been hard to learn all that?
The hardest spot to learn was probably free safety, because you got to know the whole defense. You got to get people lined up. You gotta call out checks. So yeah, that was probably the hardest one.
Did you have a moment where you?
Of course, we had a hurry up session where I had to call all the calls. There ain't none of them. But we went and filmed the next day, got it straightened out.
Is that when he moved you to corner?
Nah, he actually moved me to corner after the scrimmage on Saturday.
Okay.
Me and Terrell Edmonds, we switched positions. So yeah, that's
how does Torian react to something like that? I mean, he's a pretty demanding guy, but I think he understands it's a pretty young secondary this spring.
I mean, he gave me a couple he yelled at me a couple times here and there, but for the most part, he was helping me understand it. He understood that I was a young, early enrolled, so he walked me step by step on how to fix my mistakes.
The game slowing down to me, and just being comfortable with calling the plays and leading the defense.
Were you impressed? I mean, the coaches were impressed. We were impressed with what you were able to do when you went in there. Were you impressed? How would you describe the way you thought you played?
I think I played pretty good. I was just still kind of timid, just being young. But definitely having that experience definitely helped me a lot this fall. So,
when you got in there,
this spring.
Did you expect to play as well as you did, or were you wondering how ready you'd be?
At first, I didn't think I was gonna be that ready, but just stayed in film and paid attention a lot, and definitely watched. What helped me a lot was just watching Chase before he had got hurt. Just watching him and how he used to move around and play. So,
what was the hardest part? Was it maybe like lining everybody up, making the calls, things like that?
Yeah, that probably was definitely the hardest part. Just because the game was so fast to me, and playing the mic position, just leading the whole defense is a pretty demanding position. So, I mean, that was definitely probably the hardest part. Being vocal and making sure everybody was lined up correctly. So.
Did you come into this spring with, okay, I played, I did some good things, but I need to get better at this and this? Did you have like things in your mind, and what are they?
Yeah, I definitely had adding to the quarterback, like the running back stayed in the block, just adding to the quarterback, adding to the blitz or whatever. That I definitely needed to improve on that, and also my blitz, like my moves. So definitely trying to work on that too.